A narrow strip of water between Iran and Oman, just 21 miles wide, is now at the center of a potential global crisis. This is the Strait of Hormuz, and Iran has just moved to close it. The fallout could upend oil markets, global trade, and spark a wider military conflict. This escalation began after the US bombed 3 major Iranian nuclear sites: Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. Iran's parliament responded swiftly, approving a proposal to block the Strait of Hormuz. While the final call lies with Iran's Supreme National Security Council, the message is loud and clear: Tehran is ready to play the oil card.
Especially closing of the Strait of Hormuz by Iran is something that it would be extremely dangerous and not good for anybody.
At its narrowest, the Strait of Hormuz is just 33 kilometers wide, but it carries nearly a fifth of all global oil and LNG shipments. Over 17 million barrels of crude pass through this route daily. Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, Qatar, even Iran rely on it. There is no sea route alternative that can match its scale. Any disruption here sends shockwaves across energy markets. Oil prices will surge, potentially crossing $120 to $150 per barrel. Shipping costs spike, global supply chains stall. Energy importing countries from Asia to Europe will scramble for alternatives. Insurance premiums rise, recession fears mount. Even the stock markets could spiral, driven by oil panic and inflation. India imports over 60% of its crude from the Gulf. A disruption at Hormuz will spike domestic fuel prices, delay LNG shipments from Qatar, inflate freight and insurance costs, hurt trade in fertilizers, chemicals, heavy industry. India's strategic reserves may soften the blow, but only briefly. Top Asian importers like China, Japan, and South Korea will also bleed. Qatar's LNG, Saudi oil, Iraqi crude all flow through Hormuz. Europe, already reeling from the Ukraine war, faces a compounded crisis if LNG flows are halted. The world is looking at Asia bearing the brunt while the West pushes for containment. The paradox here is that Iran needs Hormuz too. Much of its own oil, especially the illegal or discounted crude to China, moves through this route. A blockade would choke Iran's economy, deepen sanctions pain, and alienate even its few allies. Iran may bluff, but a full closure would be economic self-harm. The US Fifth Fleet is stationed in Bahrain. France and the UK maintain naval presence in the Gulf. If Iran moves to block Hormuz militarily, expect escort missions, minesweeping operations, even open confrontation. There's precedent here: the 1980s tanker war. But this time, the stakes are global. This crisis affects everyone. It could suck China into talks, push the US into further escalation, disrupt the Global South's energy access, and spark coordinated Western retaliation. Iran's threat is about leverage, deterrence, and desperation, all rolled into one.